Unfortunately, problems don't stop just because you're trying to get your life together. We still have problems, we still have drama. And so, in this episode, I want to give you guys advice and just get into the tea on some of the things that you guys are going through and essentially just talk it out. So, I asked you guys to send me questions, and I'm going to read off some of the questions and just give my advice on what I think you should do or what I would do in that situation. So, let's get into it. First, hi, I love your content and would love your advice on if I'm wrong for wanting to cheat on my boyfriend. I'm 23 years old and we've been together for 3 years, but for the past year, it feels like we're just roommates. We don't go on dates like we used to or talk how we used to, and I feel like I'm tired of this relationship. But I don't think I should leave because technically he didn't do anything wrong. And though I don't plan on cheating, I often think about messing around with other guys. What should I do? Okay, so this is something that I think happens to a lot of individuals. You have like this problem because a lot of times our standards for women nowadays, unfortunately, in my opinion, are really low. Because I feel like we see so much stuff that goes on social media and on TV, and we see all these guys mistreating women. So it makes us feel like if I'm not getting mistreated, then I should stay. Or if something bad isn't happening to me, then I should stay. And I want people to realize, first and foremost, that you can outgrow individuals. And second of all, you have to pay attention to the signs and see when you're in a dead relationship. Like, and that goes with even friendships. Sometimes it really gets to the point where it's like, we aren't relating on anything anymore. It's not how it used to be anymore. And I don't think you should just get up and leave. I think you should have a conversation with him about it. See if he's been noticing it as well. Maybe he's going through something. Really just talk to him about it. But if it goes on continuously and you're like, there's nothing changing, it's the same, it probably was just one of those situations where it's like you guys just got to a point of no more growth. And I think people don't talk about that enough. Like, there are a lot of relationships that can just get to the point where it was like, during that time period, this served me, this was great for me, this was a great experience, but now it no longer serves me. You get what I'm saying? I think that's what it kind of sounds like. And I think it does get to the point where I think you subconsciously might be thinking about cheating. You probably even want him to cheat because it gives a reason to leave the relationship. But if you're not getting what you want from an individual, do not stay simply because they're not treating you bad. That should be a standard. Like, it shouldn't be a thing of, oh, because he didn't do nothing wrong, I should stay. No, that's you leaving regardless if he does something that you don't agree with. But at the same time, you also can leave if this individual isn't serving you anymore. Like, you don't, it doesn't sound like you're being served in the relationship. So I don't think it's a reason for you to stay. And before you do something you might regret or make it into, a situation where now you guys hate each other and it's a big thing, like a big issue, I think you should just talk to him about how you feel and then move forward from there instead of just trying to, do something wrong to possibly end it and then make you essentially a bad person. So the next question. How to change your character for the better. It's not that I am a mean bitch with no self-reflection, but it is more the canny and sometimes rude things I say, which I regret later on. So this is actually something I'm kind of going through as well. I am noticing a lot of things that I did before, right? So I talked about it before. I am a very controlling individual. Stems from my childhood, and I say that to say sometimes when I'm with friends, I do notice that it's hard for me to take advice. Like, it could be something as simple as me pretending like I did something right when I knew it was wrong. But just because somebody said, hey, you did this wrong, I'm like, oh, this is how I always do it. And it's like, no, you did that wrong. Why don't you just admit it? And so I do know for me, sometimes I do say things rudely, like, you dumb. I don't say you're dumb, but I'd be like, how you not know that? Like, what? Like, and in a very demeaning kind of way, because I assume that I should know everything. And when people don't know certain stuff, I'd be like, how you don't know that? And one thing for me, I've talked about it on previous videos, I try to do something called stop, swatch. So try to spot when you're doing it, stop it in its tracks, and then think of something else you can say. But I think you have to start paying attention to what are you saying and where's the root of it coming from. Because I realized the root of when I would say things that I didn't like, or I would say things that weren't, nice, it came from roots of my childhood. It came from me having this controlling mindset because as a child, I felt like I had to control a lot of situations. And so when people didn't have control, such as my friends and stuff like that, I'm like, y'all being childish. Like, y'all need to have more control of this. So why your mom do this? Or why your mom do that? And it's like, because we're still young, because that's just what their parents do, and we all have different parents. And so I had to realize the root of where a lot of my attitudes and character I didn't like came from, which I recommend to do first of all. And then the second part about it is just paying attention to when it happens and just getting into the routine of stopping it and swatching it with something else. It is going to take time, but I think the more you pay attention to it and pay attention to like what words do you say that you don't like or what you end up regretting later, because you probably do it all the time, even in little versions. And so just getting used to that and being able to check yourself on that, I think will help. The next one. Hey, okay, so I have a problem. I'm 26 years old and I have the same best friend. And I've had the same best friend for 15 years. I love her to death, but I just feel like I'm trying to upgrade my life and she still wants to do the same childish stuff we used to do. I don't want to just leave her, but this friendship is becoming exhausting. I don't know what to do. So I think it's very similar to what the first girl said. Sometimes it does get to a point where certain individuals just grow in different areas, especially when we're in our 20s. We're getting to know life, we're getting to know who we are. And sometimes the person that we're becoming is far away from the person that we once were, right? So the person you are when you're 26 can be a completely different person than you were when you were 15, 16, 17, 18, even sometime when you were 25. Honestly, I feel like I'm a completely different person than last year. But I say that to say, like I said with the first one, try to have a conversation with her about it. Do not do the thing of just like ghosting her or just not talking to her anymore. Like try to have a conversation about it. And I think sometimes, especially when you get older, you have to realize all of your friendships do not have to stay on the same level. Like we are getting to the point where, like I said, we're trying new things, we're meeting new people, and it can be a thing of you guys still being friends, but just not on the same level that you once were before. I think the issue is we always want things to go back to how they used to be. And sometimes there's no longer used to be. Like there's no longer oh, we're like this, so we're like that anymore. Like we're still friends, we're still cool, we still say happy birthday to each other, all this stuff. It doesn't have to be a problem, but I think also think about that as well. Like do you think there's a way for you guys to be friends but just not be best friends or be as close? Or is it just one of those relationships where you're like, it served me up until this point and I no longer can have it in my life? So it depends on how you want to navigate that. Next one. I've been hooking up with this guy for 4 months, but I'm starting to get feelings for him. Should I tell him or just wait for him to tell me what we are? Do not do that. Do not wait for him to tell you. So, first and foremost, I personally am not a fan of hookup culture for one of these reasons. I feel like it just makes sex very objective. I feel like it makes it very, in a sense, kind of pointless. It makes it like an object. It makes it something that isn't important when it's like, this is literally my body that I'm giving to another person. I say that to say, like I said, I don't recommend hookup culture, but if you've gotten to the point where you guys are starting to get more intimate, even on a social level as well, because obviously on a physical level you are. I think you should tell him how you feel. Now, you do have to come into it with the knowing that since you guys kind of were just hookup buddies, it may not go into something else. I think that's another reason why we are so scared sometimes to say things, because we're like, okay, well, I don't want to end this right here. Like, I don't want to stop this. So I'm just not going to say anything because if I say something, it may stop this. No, you have to have, I don't even want to use the word confidence, but you just have to have enough reassurance in yourself to say, like, I was good before him and I'm going to be good after him, but I'm not going to allow this individual to make me into somebody that I'm not. Like, don't allow people to make you into a emotionless person. I think that sometimes happens with hookup culture, because it's like, if we're just hooking up or we're just buddies like that, like, we can't really have feelings. So it's like, I have to turn my emotions off when I'm around you. But if it was somebody else, I could turn my emotions on, like I could be myself. And so if this individual, like I said, is making you feel like you can't be yourself, first and foremost, say how you feel. And I'm also a big advocate of, especially as women, do not just let things go with the flow if you are not liking the flow. I'm a big advocate of saying how I feel and not leaving any room for confusion or leaving any room for, oh, I thought we were this. No, say what you guys are. I'm not saying as soon as you start talking to a guy, oh, we're in a relationship and stuff like that. But if you get a sense of emotions, if you get a sense of feelings and you no longer want things to be the way they once were before, I recommend to say something. Obviously, you don't know what he's going to say back, but I think it's good to at least just get that out. Get that out how you feel. And I mean, at the end of the day, you got yourself, and you was fine without him, and before you had him. So even if he leave or he don't want to do that, whatever, you're gonna be fine. But also stick to your guns. And if you are catching feelings for him, and he says, "Oh, I don't want to get into that," you probably do need to cut him off, because you're not gonna also not stop catching feelings just because he said he doesn't want to be with you. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's not gonna work like that. So you already know, you starting to dive into the pool before you start getting in there and swimming. Ask him what it is, and if he say no, get out the pool. Get out the pool. Don't think you can keep swimming in that. Mm-mm. Hi. How do you stop caring what people think about you? I want to become a content creator, but I'm embarrassed I'll seem cringy. How do I stop caring? Me personally, it comes at a little bit of age as well. I think when you're, depending on how old you are, when you're, especially when you're a teenager, you just want to feel accepted. You just want individuals to make you feel like you're part of the community kind of sense thing. But one thing about me, I've just gotten to the point where I realize we are all different individuals, and everybody's not going to understand what I do. I think sometimes we are scared of being seen as cringy or being seen as, you know, weird or whatever the case may be. We're basically saying, I want everyone to understand what I do. You you get what I'm saying? And that doesn't make any sense. Like, there are some individuals that do things that I would never do. Become an accountant. I would never become an accountant. Is there anything wrong with accountants? No. Do we need accountants? No, but I would never do that. So I say that to say, don't feel like you have to explain yourself to everyone, because that's what you're so low key doing when you're trying to say, like, oh, I don't want to seem cringy, or I don't want to seem like this. If you're being cringy to yourself, that's something else that you need to figure out. But a lot of times we're not. I think a lot of times a lot of the bad emotions I've realized that I felt about myself were based on what I thought other people felt about me. So even when I first started on social media, I did feel cringy. I did feel, like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? But then I kind of would just like do it and then get off my phone and not, look at anything. And another thing too, after a certain amount of time, I was just like, you know what? I care about what people think about me. I'm not going to try to be one of those people that's like, oh, I don't care anything what people think about me. I do, but I can't care enough that it can affect my life in a way where I can't live in my truth. And I think you have to think about it like that. Like, everyone's not going to understand you. Everyone's not going to get it. And let's just be completely honest. Everything is cringy when it's first starting. Like, everyone is cringy. Everyone is weird. Everyone is this and there's that. But then when you start making money or when you start blowing up, trust me, there's so many people who I started content creation with. Well, not with, but when I started content creation, people act like they didn't know me. They act like all this stuff. And nowadays, people are acting like they know me all of a sudden. And it's kind of like, I mean, I'm fine with it. It's cool. But for some people, it's kind of like, but you've always known me. You've always known me. And now you want to act like you know me because you think what I'm doing is successful, or you know what I'm saying? You like what I'm doing. So I don't know. I just recommend to just get into the action of actually doing the thing. So get into the action of, actually recording the content. Don't even have the mindset of, oh, I have to post this. Like, get into recording the content. Get into what actually takes to, what kind of content you want to make. Get into that aspect of it even before you shoot it. And then a lot of times that'll help you too, because you'll be like, I just did all this work. And so for nothing. So I don't know. It takes time, but I think over time doing it and showing up for yourself makes it easier. And it's never gonna kind of go away. I still feel cringy making these videos. I'm not gonna lie. Like, not cringy, but I'm sometimes like, are people like this? Is this weird? Even though I even have like 14,000 followers. So it might not never really, really go away. How are you not afraid of failing? I want to start my own business, but I'm scared it won't work. I think that's a not a lie, but I think that's a idea that people have, that people aren't afraid of failure. Like, just because someone has a business or just because someone is doing something, they're not afraid of failure. I will not say I'm more so afraid of failure. I'm more so afraid of living the life that I currently am living for the rest of my life. Because there's two things that are essentially going to happen. Either you're going to go in the direction of a different life, or you're going to keep going in the direction of the life that you have now. And I think that's what I got into the idea of, that kind of scared me more so than being scared of failing, which is like, if I don't try, I can never do anything differently. And if I never do anything differently, then I'm always going to live the life that I have now. So, and if anything, it's going to get worse, right? Because you get more bills, you get more responsibilities, there's more things that happen. And so instead of always feeling like, oh my gosh, what if I fail? What if I fail? What if I fail? I think people need to start asking themselves, what if I stay here? What if I never leave? What if I think that's what scared me more than failing, because it's like failure is a part of learning, failure is a part of growth, and I'm not going to be quote unquote successful at everything that I do. But I think giving myself the opportunity and allowing myself to try things, even though I might not be perfect at it, it's I don't know, just the mind. I guess it's the mindset I have. I was so afraid of being stagnant. I've always kind of been afraid of being stagnant, and so it's like which is worse? You get what I'm saying? Like, how do you want to look at it? But I say that to say I'm not afraid of failure. Like I still do get scared. I still do sometimes think things possibly aren't going to work. Things aren't possibly going to be right or essentially fail. But I'm so much more afraid of never having an option with that thing. So I don't know. I think that's the perspective that I had. I hope that helped you in some way. It's really just your mindset about things, and really just coming to the point of just being like, what's more important to you? Because that's what I realized was more important to me: growth and trying things, and realizing I'm already 24 years old and it feels like I was just in elementary school last week. So it's like time is not stopping for nobody. So let me stop acting like I got all this time, because I don't. But thank you guys so much. I hope you guys like this video. If you guys want me to do more TMI videos like this, again, tea videos, definitely comment below. And if you want me to answer any questions that you have, any advice that you have on my videos, definitely go down below. I have an email, advicechamiatiarra, where you can just email me anything and I can make a video about it. As you've seen, everything was anonymous. So I do not say your name. I do not say anything you do not send in the email. I do not say. So you don't have to worry about people knowing who you are. But thank you guys so much for watching my video. Don't forget to also go below in the caption and sign up for my newsletter, and like, comment, and subscribe. Have a great one.